What's up, YouTube? It's Sean the Barbarian here with some draft tips. With the pre-release for Midnight Hunt coming to a close, it's time to start thinking about the next phase. Time to start thinking about draft. Lucky for you guys, I've been drafting all weekend on Arena, so that way when you hit the draft tables at your local game store or feel like you want to step into the Arena Premier drafts, these are going to be some commons and uncommons you're going to be needing to look out for in white. But before we get into the video, how about dropping a like and subscribing to the channel? I'm new to the Magic scene, and we're looking to have some awesome fun. I stream on most days on Twitch at 7 p.m. Pacific. I also have an awesome Discord community. Links will be in the description down below. Without further ado, let's get into it. So we're at our draft table, and we find ourselves in white, whether that be main color and white splash or white is our predominant color. But these are going to be picks that if you see, you need to pick them up because most likely they're not going to wheel. And we're going to start off. I couldn't limit white down to 5, so we have an honorable mention. We're going to start with Gavany Silversmith. All right, this 4 mana 2/3 that distributes 2+1/+1 counters up to 2 target creatures is great for any deck that has flyers. Pumping up the stats of your flyers is great. Also enables Coven almost by itself, being a 2 power creature, and then buffing up 2 different other creatures, even itself, to make sure that you hit the 3 different powers. I couldn't do this list without mentioning this card, but this card, if other white cards are on the list that show up, I would pick those over this one, but I had to give the honorable mention. And then moving on to number 5, we got Champion of the Elms. All right, this uncommon 1-drop 1/1 has first strike and ward 1, is great on its own. It's a very nice stat line. First strike does keep opponents' creatures at bay, especially the 2/1 aggressive attackers. But honestly, where this shines is on its flip side. So we don't care about this dying. Hell, we can even use it for cards like Eaten Alive or other sack engines to enable us to cast the Disturb side. For 4 mana, we get a 2/1 first striking flyer. That gives our whole board ward 1, which is great at making sure that our board is protected and not going to be fall into pesky removal spells or other such things. All right. And moving on to number 4, we have Candle Trap. This 1 mana enchantment does work. All right. Removal is king in limited, so always remember that. Pick removal often and regularly. But this removal is very cost effective. It doesn't necessarily remove the creature right away, but it does neuter them and preserves your life total from an aggressive attacker. And then it also has the upside of Coven, 2 mana and a white. Once you have that 3 power Coven unlocked, you get to exile it and it's gone forever. So it can become removal later on if we do need to remove the threat. At its worst, it stops an aggressive blocker and allows you to attack in aggressively, changing the momentum of the game. Great piece of removal. Highly recommend drafting it. At the number 3 spot, we have Dual Craft Trainer. This 4 mana 3/3 first striker is a house. There is no way to understate how much of a house this is. At the uncommon slot, pick this one up. All right. Now, where this card's power really comes through is its Coven ability. And as I said multiple times, Coven can be pretty easy to enable. It gives one of your creatures double strike. I recommend splashing this in almost every single white deck possible, giving your flyer double strike, giving itself double strike, giving an unblockable or pseudo unblockable creature double strike. You put your opponent on such a clock with this card alone. 4 mana for a 3/3 first striker is great, but the double strike upside is too much to ignore. Put this one in your decks and your opponents will be dead shortly. Moving right along to the number 2 spot, it's a card that the whole Magic community has been waiting for. Wizards has finally done it. They finally gave white a decent card draw effect. Hopefully we see this in more cards, but I'm talking about Sunset Revelry. This 2 mana sorcery does it all. Gains you life, puts creatures on the board, and it draws you a card. It harkens back to a card like Timely Reinforcements, but it does scale back the life gain and creatures part of that card and gives you a card draw effect. So if your opponent has more life, you gain 4 life. If your opponent has more creatures, you get 2 1/1s. If your opponent has more cards, you draw a card. Okay? There's been a lot of games where you just rally back after you resolve this card that I highly recommend. If you're in white, you draft this early and then you don't have to worry about it later because this card does not wheel. People are excited that white gets card draw, and it's pretty darn good. Try it for yourself. And alrighty, the top dog of the draft common and uncommons is none other than Borrowed Time. Dang, what a card. 3 mana enchantment. When Borrowed Time enters the battlefield, exile target non-land permanent until Borrowed Time leaves the battlefield. It's an Oblivion Ring effect. It's Banishing Light. It's all those cards, the predecessors before, and it's still great in this format. Now, it hits any non-land permanent, so that means it hits Planeswalkers, it hits your opponent's creature bombs, any pesky enchantments that you yourself don't want. It's just a great all-around card. Do not pass this one up. It does not wheel ever, and if you're in white, it's probably one of the best removal spells in the format. And all right, there you have. There's the top 5 plus an honorable mention draft white common and uncommon cards. Get to the draft tables, get to those arena premier drafts, pick these cards if you're in white. Let me know how it treated you down in the comments below. We're going to be doing the rest of the colors throughout the week, and hopefully this helps you get the wins and get some extra booster packs. We'll see you next time.